The afternoon sun bathed the quiet riverbank in a golden glow as Daniel absent-mindedly tossed stones into the water. Life had hardened him, making him indifferent to companionship, especially from stray animals. He believed they were burdens, just another responsibility he wasn't willing to bear. That was when he noticed it, a scruffy, thin dog standing a few feet away, its eyes filled with silent pleading, its tail wagging hesitantly. Daniel sighed. He had seen strays like this before, always looking for food, for kindness. But he wasn't the kind of man to give either. "Go away," he muttered, picking up a small stone and tossing it near the dog's paws, not to hurt, but to scare it off. The dog flinched but didn't run. Instead, it tilted its head, confused, as if trying to understand why Daniel didn't want a friend. Annoyed, Daniel waved his arms. "Go! Get lost!" he snapped. This time the dog's ears flattened, and it turned away, disappearing into the bushes. Daniel exhaled in relief. He didn't need a stray following him around. Days passed, and he forgot about the dog. But fate had other plans. One evening, as he strolled by the riverbank, lost in thought, the damp ground beneath him gave way. He slipped, tumbling into the cold, fast-moving water. Panic set in as the current pulled him under. He thrashed, gasping for air, but his limbs felt heavy, useless. Just as the water threatened to claim him, something grabbed hold of his shirt, a sharp tug, a desperate grip. Through his blurred vision, he saw it, the same stray dog. It had leaped into the river, paddling against the current, biting onto his collar, and pulling with all its strength. With one final effort, the dog dragged him toward the shore. Daniel coughed and sputtered, his body weak, his mind reeling. But he was alive, and it was because of the very creature he had once pushed away. He turned to the dog, who stood beside him, soaked and panting, its eyes no longer pleading for food, but filled with unwavering loyalty. Something inside Daniel broke. Without thinking, he reached out and wrapped his arms around the dog, his voice shaking as he whispered, "I'm so sorry. I don't deserve this, but thank you." The dog let out a small whimper, licking his face as if to say, "I was always going to save you." That night, Daniel took the dog home, cleaned him up, and gave him a name, Buddy. From that day on, they were inseparable. Mornings were spent taking long walks, afternoons filled with laughter and games, and evenings watching the sunset together by the same riverbank where Daniel had almost lost his life. One night, as Daniel sat beside Buddy, gently ruffling his fur, he smiled. "You saved me," he murmured, "not just that day, but in every way." Buddy wagged his tail and licked his hand, as if to say, "And I always will." And for the first time in years, Daniel knew what true love felt like, because sometimes the ones we push away are the ones who save us in the end.